Hi everyone, Jim here. Welcome to my channel. Well, here we are on the cusp of Garbaugust. Garbaugust is a reading event created by Criminali that is dedicated to the joy of reading. Now, the joy of trashy fiction. To put it bluntly, trashy fiction doesn't mean that it's bad fiction. As a matter of fact, I think trashy fiction kind of implies that it's more popular fiction than the highbrow, hoity-toity literature that people like to pretend they read. But this stuff, trashy fiction, trashy books, that's what people love. That's what they like to read. That's what they just take in droves. So I've been all morning long, I've been shopping my bookshelves for trashy fiction. Now I've got a lot here. I've got it really in no particular order, but it is going to be my TBR that I'm going to choose from this next month in August. And obviously, I won't be reading it all, but I will show you what I have to read, and maybe if there's specific ones you want me to read, maybe you can make a comment down in the comment section below. But I'm gonna start going through these. I've got a lot of books. I've got a lot of books here. I've got my list in front of me. I kind of have a bingo card, kind of rough here, and the prompts for the weekly prompts up top there, and there's a lot, honestly. Okay, so let me go through the weekly prompts. The weekly prompts for the 4 weeks. The first week, which is the upcoming week, is a free-for-all. It's totally up to you what you want to read for that first week. The second week is category romance or men's adventure. So, romance, Harlequin romance, or men's adventure could be the Executioner series by Don Pendleton. The third week is sex and or violence. So anything, combining the two, or anything that is just sex or just violence. And there's a lot of that out there. The fourth week is novelizations of, movies or television shows, which, again, they don't do that as often, I don't think, anymore. But back in the day, they adapted TV shows and movies all the time. So there's a lot of that out there to choose from. And under that same week, you could either do the novelizations, or you could read a book that was turned into a miniseries in the 70s or 80s, like Winds of War, for instance, or Roots by Alex Haley, that kind of thing. So the bingo card, I'll probably put that up here beside me, so you can get a better idea of what's on the bingo card. And I've got some of the squares filled out for the books that I chose. And I think I ended up having like one line. If I do read all those books, I'll get like bingo. But I don't think I'll probably get through that line. But we'll see. Again, we'll see. It's all up in the air, and that's the fun of it. It's just fun reading. It's just to read whatever you think is fun, and have a good time with it. So I guess I'll just start showing you the books that I have in front of me, and I'll kind of tell you where they fit in the prompts or the bingo cards. Now I'm going to start with, let's start with the men's adventure novels, instead of doing them kind of out of order, which I was just about to do. But let's get into the men's adventure novels. So to start with, for Garbaugust 1.5 or 2.5, which we did back a few months ago, 6 months ago, I read a long arm novel, which I actually really liked. So the next one I have on my shelf, next in order of my long arm novels, I've got a few of them, is Long Arm and the Mounties. This is Long Arm number 16. Now this actually fits the weekly prompt, and it fits 2 of my bingo squares. if I end up reading this. And there's nudity on the cover. And I'm going to cheat a little bit here, but there's more than 2 guns on the cover. You see one in his hand. I did see and one in the Mounties holster. And then if you turn the wraparound cover over, there's long arm with a gun there. So that's cheating a little bit, but I'm gonna say that that's more than 2 guns on the cover. Next in the men's adventure, number 1 in the Executioner series by Don Pendleton, The War Against the Mafia. Now I have the first 36 or 38 paperbacks in this series, all the Executioner books that Don Pendleton wrote. I think after number 36 or 38, I forget the number, sorry, other authors came in and wrote the Executioner series, but I do have all the ones written by the creator of the Executioner, Don Pendleton, in paperback. So that's one for the men's adventure. Next, I have number 1 in the Matt Helms series, Death of a Citizen. And I have number 1 in the Destroyer series by Warren Murphy, called Created the Destroyer. And that also fits nudity on the cover or square on my bingo card. Okay, so that's I do have number 1 in the Phantom series. I have a few others on my shelf, but I decided to grab this one by Lee Falk. And I consider this under the men's adventure series and under the vigilante block on the bingo card. So that's that one. Now we will do, okay, let's do the novelizations. And again, they're scattered throughout, so I might actually show you all these novelizations and then end up with another one later on. So here I have Zardoz, and many of you might remember the movie from the 70s, I do believe, starring Sean Connery, and with that kind of cool cover. That's just kind of a kitschy old movie. And here we have Mannix number 4, Round Trip to Nowhere, by J.T. McCargo. And he's a private eye, Mannix. If anybody doesn't know what this is, it's an adaptation of an old TV show called Mannix, and he was a private eye, and it was a very popular TV show back in the day. And here's another old adaptation of an old TV show, The Mod Squad, number 5, called The Hit. Now, this is written by Richard Deming, who was a very popular paperback writer back in the day. And yeah, this might be one I read because I'm a fan of Richard Deming, and I'm kind of curious how this one would be. And I remember watching the Mod Squad back in the day. And for you kids out there, look into it. It was kind of a cool show. Now I have 2 Planet of the Apes books. Beneath the Planet of the Apes. This was written by Michael Avallone, based on the screenplay. I love those old Planet of the Apes movies. And this is Escape from the Planet of the Apes. And I do believe this is by Jerry Purnell, based on the screenplay. Awesome movies. So they come under the adaptations, the novelizations. Now I'm going to do, let's go to, okay, I'll just go through the books I have and figure out where they fit as I show them to you. I think these next few, maybe 4, 5 or 6 of them, would fit under nudity on the cover box on the bingo card. And going through my books, I kind of discovered I have an inordinate amount of paperback covers with nude women on the cover. So here's just a few of them. This one is called The Chattels of El Dorado, with that awesome cover. And this is by Edgar Jean Bracco in that old awesome paperback. And here is one by L. Sprague de Camp with 2 stories in it. The Virgin and the Wheels. And that's got a neat wraparound cover to it. Now this one is a private eye novel by Barry Fantoni, and it's called Stickman. It's a Mike Dime adventure, a Mike Dime novel. And that fits a couple. Nudity on the cover, and it's got green on the cover, which fits the middle box of the bingo card, the PAX Panic box with green on the cover. And that might be one I read, because I've had this one for a long time and I haven't read it yet. So we'll see. The next I have is Rogue Roman by Lance Horner. And you've got like 3 nude figures on the cover, or 5 if you count the males. They're kind of semi-nude there, but with that awesome Frank Frazetta cover. And that's just, I read this book years ago, and it's full of sex and violence as well, too. So that could go for the second or third week of the prompt if I decide to read that one. Now, this next author, he's probably the trashiest of the trash novelists ever, and that would be Harold Robbins' The Carpetbaggers. Now, she's not fully nude on the cover, but the back cover, she's almost there. So that would go under the nudity on the cover box and the bingo card. But I mean, honestly, this is the trashiest novels of all time, and it's a bit of a chunker, so I don't think I'll actually get to this next month. But I would like to read it one of these days and see what it's all about. But that's just a very cool paperback. Now, this next one I've had on my shelves for literally decades. I bought it years and years ago, and I've never got around to reading it, but I did buy it for the cover because the cover is awesome, and it's a pan paperback in pretty good shape, and it's called Cruise by Peter Baker. And it fits under that category of, again, nudity on the cover, but that's just an incredible cover, and I love that paperback. It's a bit thick. I'm not going to read the synopsis on the back of these because it's going to be a long video as it is. So I'll maybe save that for another time and tell you all about that one. The next book I have here is called Killer's Choice by Wade Miller. Now this one fits written under a pseudonym, because Wade Miller is actually the pseudonym, the pen names of 2 writers called Bill Miller and Bob Wade. So I might stick to these kind of, crime mystery reads this next month, because, that's what I've kind of been reading this last month of July. I kind of dropped the ball on Rocket Summer. I had a lot going on, but I was reading a lot of private eye mystery stories. Now, these next 2, I don't really know what category they would go in. James Hadley Chase, The Paw in the Bottle. Oh, I do know what category they go in. I've got 2 of them actually with these photo covers. In Mallory by James Hadley Chase. I bought these when I was in my 20s, when I was out west, and I bought them, and I've had them ever since then. And these would be under the category where I wouldn't read them on the bus if I was taking the bus, because they are a little risque, these covers. But awesome covers and a good writer, James Hadley Chase. Let's see. The next one is Murder Most Cozy. Now, this is short stories, and I'm sure one of them have a cat in them. So I would put this under the center square in the bingo card under Alice's Cozy Mysteries. And I got this a while back, and I like cozy mysteries as much as the next guy. Here's another adaptation, novelization, Hustle by Steve Shagan. Based on the movie Hustle. Now, wait a second. Now, this actually, the movie was based on the book. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. The movie was based on the book called City of Angels, and this particular copy is a movie edition where they renamed it to Hustle based on the movie, and it was a Burt Reynolds movie. So I have that one. I have 4 of these kung fu novels written by Howard Lee, and these were adapted from the television stories starring David Carradine. And yeah, just a thin little paperback, and I've never actually got around to reading them, but they might be kind of cool. Now, this next one, I think I've shown it on my channel before. It's basically an erotic novel called Kiss of Death by Valentina Chilescu, and it's a erotic vampire novel. So that would fit under a couple of the prompts, sex and or violence for the third week's prompt, and in bingo card, sexy vamps and kinky sex. So that's that book there. And I guess it could be nudity on the cover as well. But yeah, and that's a bit of a thick book, though. The next book is called The Big Rumble by Wenzel Brown. And this is a gang novel about gangs in the 1950s, late 1940s, maybe. When was it written? Yeah, 1955. So that would be under the bingo card under gangs. And this one, The Miss from Sis, and that's written by Bob Tralins. I'm not too sure if that's a pseudonym or not, but that's kind of a cool book, and that's definitely trashy. And I would put that under the sex and violence prompt for week number 3, and probably one or two others, but anyway, but that's that one. There's the back cover. The next one is a Harlequin mystery. I have 4 of these on my shelf, and they're actually very intriguing. And this cover caught my eye when I bought these, and it's called Haunted House. And I would put that under the second week prompt category romance. But yeah, that's just an awesome cover, and I kind of look forward to reading that. I might read that one. And the next one is a Dirty Harry novel in a series. Actually, I've got a couple of them. This is number 4, The Mexico Kill. So this has green on the cover. It would be under the center box of the bingo card, and it would also be under the drugs box in the bingo card, and even under men's adventure, I suppose. So there's that one. This next one I've read many times, and I love this book, and I just decided to show it on the channel today because I didn't have any step back covers, but this one I wanted to show you as a step back cover, which is falling off. But it's very cool, and it's a very highly recommended book. I love this. I won't read it this next month, but I did want to sorry, my camera shut off there for a minute. So yeah, I just wanted to show that one to you guys. I won't be reading it this month, but highly recommended. Awesome book. We got just a couple more. I've got an adaptation of Batman Arkham Knight from the video game. So that fits the based on a video game box in the bingo card. And again, I mean, I'm not counting these as on the video on the bingo card right now because I haven't read them. But as I read them, I'll check them off. And there's only one possible line I could get here anyway, I think. So maybe I should concentrate on reading that. I don't know, but I'll keep you guys apprised as the month goes on. So that's Batman Arkham Knight, and that's written by Marv Wolfman, who's a well-known comic book writer. And so that's a bit of a thick book, but yeah, I haven't read that yet. But very cool game. Anybody who watches my channel knows I'm a gamer. I love video games, and that's a really, really good game. And the last one I have is this one. A cozy book, No Hope of Heaven, and it's a little risque. I mean, it starts out it says, "Not since Lady Chatterley's lover has so shocking a story of lust and love been told." So, I mean, that sounds like it's trashy, and it sounds like it would belong in the third week, the third week's prompt, sex and or violence. So yeah, that's. I've got a lot more to go through. I did want to show you this one by John Dixon Carr, He Who Whispers, and it's a Dr. Gideon Fell story, and the premise is that this lady kills somebody, and it's possible that they believe that she might be a vampire. So that's that would fit under the sexy vamps category on the bingo card. And what else have I got? I got a whole bunch, but there's Rebel Wench by Gardner F. Fox. And he's a good writer. I've always been a fan of his work, and he's a comic book writer, and he wrote lots of novels, and that's just an awesome cover right there. So anyway, I mean, I could go on like this forever and show you guys a bunch of books, but I did want to talk to you about the Garbology, the upcoming Garbology that Criminali and Troy Tradup have just so kindly put together and put so much work into, and that will be available, the physical copy and the ebook tomorrow, August 1st. You'll be able to go on to Amazon and order your ebook or your physical copy, and it's a big, huge, over 400 pages of stories and illustrations, and I'm lucky enough to have a story and an illustration in the book. So I'll put a picture up here beside me with more information about it, and I'll put the link below if I can, if I remember after I do the video. So yeah, you can go on Amazon and order these, and I hope you do, because it just looks like an incredible book. And as I said, they both put a lot of work into it, and I'm just so happy to have something included in it. I'm gonna, when I do receive the copy, I'm going to do a reading of my story. Troy kind of recommended or said that asked us if it was possible if we could actually read our story from the book, so that he could compile like an audible series, audiobook series of the book. So I'm going to do that when I receive the book, and I'll put a video up of me reading my story. And yeah, who knows? I mean, that's when I'm able to, because I'm the one who wrote the story, so there's no copyright issues. But that will be very soon when I receive the book, which I'll probably receive it this next week sometime, and I'll be able to do that for you guys. So that should be fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And there's a lot of books, a lot of stuff to go through, but it was a lot of fun. Garbaugust, looking for Garbaugust 3D, I should say. I neglected to say that. It's the third Garbaugust, and Criminali titled it as Garbaugust 3D. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. You take care. Keep reading. Talk to you soon.